This is piece 191, the Ardabil Carpet. It was supervised by Maksud of Kassan. It was recorded on the carpet that was completed in 1539 to 1540. It's made of silk and wool. The context for it is that it was commissioned for this shrine. This is the shrine of Sheikh Safi al-Din Ardabil. He was a Sufi mystic or religious leader, and it was one of his descendants who began the Safavid dynasty. And so it would be his further descendant, Shah Tahmasp, who commissioned this shrine, these carpets to be made. Sufism, which is what the Sheikh Ardabil practiced, is a mystical branch of Islam where they really emphasize a personal relationship with Allah. And one of the ways that they get this personal relationship is through dancing, and this is a form of meditation. So that's a bit of an aside, but Sufi Islam is interesting. This is the shrine of Sheikh al-Din Ardabil, and in terms of where it's located today, right there where that blue star is. And this shrine is a bit of a treasury, a storage spot for lots of artifacts that traveled on the Silk Road. Today it's a museum. And this is the interior of that museum. You can see people standing here on this carpet. This carpet is a replica of the Ardabil carpet, and here it is in just a bigger image. More context is that while this carpet was finished in about 1539, by 1843, there were still mentionings of the carpets. There were two of them in the shrine. But in 1873, there was a pretty damaging earthquake, damaging to the shrine, and the carpets were sold. And when they were sold to people who lived in the West, in England, and the one carpet was used to repair the other. So you can see here, this is now complete, and this little guy here is less complete, and here it is in its kind of finished state after parts of it had been taken away. The complete carpet is found in the British Victoria and Albert Museum. I'll show you a little video about this particular case that it's stored in. And then the Los Angeles Museum of Art was given the incomplete carpet by John Paul Getty. So its function is that, number one, this was commissioned for Sheikh Safi al-Din Ardabil, an honoring Shah Tahmasp's relative. And then in general, carpets like these cover the floor of mosques so that the devoted can come and pray here at least every Friday. So continuing on with that function, carpets are very important in the Islamic faith because they are what is used for prayer. And so you can go to a mosque and pray where there might be large carpets, or there might be wall-to-wall carpeting. But individual Muslims have their own prayer rug. And so it is believed that before a person can be ready to pray, they must clean themselves, their hands, their face, their feet. And then they stand on their prayer rug. And this is an individual prayer rug that shows the direction to Mecca, right? This would represent kind of the Qibla wall. And this little prayer rug isn't needed in a mosque because you have the Qibla wall. But all of this to say, the function of the carpet is essential in Islamic worship, as they cover the floors of mosques and individuals use them to pray. Okay, so the form is that this has got 33 million individual hand-tied knots that are made of wool. It's got natural dyes. There are 11 colors they found, and the natural dyes are like the rind of pomegranate to make that red and indigo to make that deep blue. The value of a carpet is measured by the number of knots per square inch. And in this case, there are 350, imagine that, 350 hand-tied knots per square inch. A carpet that you might buy in a store, a valuable one, might have up to 160 knots per square inch. It would have taken, they figure, 8 to 10 people, they think it was men that might have made this, 4 years to make this piece. In terms of form, there are bands you can see, or borders. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 of these borders making the outside kind of frame of this carpet. There is a medallion in the center. It's this big yellow medallion, which is a common form for a Persian carpet. It's got what's called a field. This blue that makes up most of the interior of the carpet is the field. So it's like the background onto which other designs are placed. And it's made up of blue swirling flowers and leaves, so an organic feel to it. And then the medallion is represented partially in each of the 4 corners. And there's another piece that we're going to talk about in a sec, but going more deeply into the medallion in the center, it's got 16 ovals surrounding it, so pretty geometric as well. And that's thought that that medallion would represent, this is more content, that it would represent the sun, because in the Sufi Islam, it's believed that the light of Allah is an affirming, it's a blessing to Muslims. The other thought is that that medallion could represent the dome that was in the top of this shrine to Sheikh Ardabil. More form and crossing over into content here are 2 lamps on either side of the medallion in the field here. And these lamps, you'll notice, are not similar in size or shape. One is larger than the other. They got a little bit different shape. And this has been the discussion of a lot of papers about this carpet. So some believe that the fact that they are of different shapes or sizes shows imperfection, meaning that only Allah is perfect, and that perfection is left to him alone. And then the other thought about these lamps is that this is a carpet intended for, a shrine, like a mosque. And so these lamps would mimic the mosque lamps that or shrine lamps that hang in most mosques. So here is a lamp from the Taj Mahal, a tomb, an Islamic tomb. And then final content is that woven into this carpet is this saying, except for thy threshold, there is no refuge for me in all the world. Except for this door, there is no resting place for my head. And then it says, the work of the slave of the portal, Maskud Kasani. And so he is believed, he's in our identifiers, he is believed to be a government official who oversaw the making of this carpet. And in terms of date, you can see here, there's 9 and there's a 4. It's 946, actually. That is the Islamic calendar year that this was completed, which translates into 1539 in the Western world's calendar. Okay, the value of carpets in the Islamic world is significant, used for prayer. It's a fine art. This is the Ardabil carpet.